Command 2-1 Eagle 1-1 IP Bravo heading 300, distance 1.25 clicks, target elevation 40 meters, target 2 times T100, grid 066157, watch for lays, friendlies 1.5 clicks west, egress south to Kavala, threats in the area 1 times Tigris north 2.5 kilometers, 1 times Tigris northeast 3 kilometers, how copy? Hey folks, EagleScout with you. Today we're going to talk about communications, specifically for close air support. What we're going to go over is a 9-line type of communication system where your information is passed on, the forward air controller's information, or the JTAC's information, is passed on to the attacking aircraft or device via 9 lines of information. It's quick and concise. Primary mission set of a JTAC, Joint Tactical Air Controller, or a Forward Air Controller, FAC. The primary mission set for them is gathering intel, essentially, for an aerial strike package coming later on. So a lot of times these guys are sniper spotter teams, and they're just looking around, gathering intel to give to the aircraft as they're coming in, and to direct fire of that aircraft onto the target that they want. So you have to look around, look for any threats to that aircraft, and try and find whatever target you're there to find and designate for that aircraft. So what you're going to do is you're going to look around, thermal, whatever kind of equipment you have available to you. I usually write down on my map where all these things are, and then I can kind of formulate my 9-line from there, looking at my map. And if we haven't already determined IPs, and we'll get into that, what that means here in a bit. If you don't have IPs already, then we can look at our map and kind of plan a couple of different routes and alternates for that aircraft as they come in when we give them their 9-line. So we're looking around here. I'm seeing a couple of threats. They're Tigrises, which is an AA tank with missiles and guns to the north of my location right now. So I'm going to take the targets that I find, those threats to the north. I see a couple of tanks down here in a second. These tanks are a direct threat to our forces south in Kavala. So I'm going to task the aircraft onto these tanks. Now how I'm going to task these aircraft is I'm going to set, I've said it already, an initialization point, or an IP. In order to direct the aircraft from that IP onto the target, I have to know the cardinal direction on the compass from the IP to these tanks. So that's where I'm going to use my map to kind of help me out. From my location, I use my range finder and my compass to get a distance from me to the target, and a bearing from me, magnetic, to the target. I can use that and transpose it onto my map, and now I know where roughly those targets are on my map. If we're not playing the game in easy, if we're playing it on veteran or above, then those things aren't just going to show up on map for me. So I got to know how to orienteer a little bit and how to use a map and compass. So here we do that, we mark it. Now I can take my compass over top of the map and get a bearing from my IP to the target that I've designated there, and I'm going to give to the aircraft. So one thing the CAS aircraft, or close air support aircraft, should do the minute it reaches the area of operations is contact the JTAC, forward area controller, and give them the lineup. And what that is the setup of the aircraft. So it would be the aircraft type, number of aircraft in the flight, mission number, what kind of ordnance he has and how much time he has available on station based on usually fuel, and an abort code to abort fire mission if necessary. If there's no abort code, then the abort is in the clear. So what is the 9-line? Let us start with the IP. What that stands for is the initialization point. The initialization point is where the forward area controller wants the attack aircraft to start its attack run from. So that's usually a predetermined point. You could have a couple of points, and the forward area controller selects one and tells him. Second is the heading from that IP to the target that the forward area controller wants the CAS aircraft to hit, and that's in degrees from the compass. Third line is the distance from the IP to the target. That's usually in nautical miles. In ARMA, we're going to be using kilometers because everything is in kilometer grids. The fourth line is the target elevation. This may or may not be important later on, depending on how much Bohemia wants to add to it. The target elevation is important because we use different types of ordnance, and some of them are elevation dependent, and it depends on the mods you have in the game. The fifth line, target description. It could be foot mobiles in the open, armor on the move, armor in a field, boat, aircraft, whatever. Just giving a description of your target. Sixth line is target location. Probably the best way to give a target location is the grid system, the Mercator grid in the game, where you can use lat and long, vice versa. Seventh line is mark type. How are you going to mark the target? You can use lays, you could use ordnance of your own, rockets, or you could use smoke. Just something to mark that target and tell the aircraft. Eighth line is location of friendlies. The way I usually do this, and it all depends, location of friendlies in relation to the target. That way, once the aircraft drops its ordnance, it knows where you are in relation to it. Egress. Where does the forward area controller want the attacking aircraft to leave the area? What direction does he want to leave the area in? So if he attacks, he's going to leave south, north, whatever. Remarks. Anything else the forward area controller wants to tell the close air support aircraft. Things like, where are there threats? Anti-aircraft threats, that sort of thing. So let's see how this all plays out in the game. Hit me 2-1, Eagle 1-1 actual. Eagle 1-1 actual, hit me 2-1, send traffic. Hitman, stand by for 9 line, how copy? Hitman understands, stand by for 9 line. Hitman 2-1, Eagle 1-1, IP, Bravo, heading 300, distance 1.25 clicks, target elevation 40 meters, target 2 times T100, grid 066157, watch for lays, friendlies 1.5 clicks west, egress south to Kavala, threats in the area 1 times Tigris north 2.5 kilometers, 1 times Tigris north northeast 3 kilometers, how copy? Hitman 1-1 copies, IP Bravo, heading 300, distance 1.25 clicks, target elevation 40 Mike, 2 times T100, grid 066157, with lays, friendlies 1.5 clicks west, egress south to Kavala, threats 1 times Tigris north 2.5 clicks, 1 times Tigris north northeast 3 kilometers. All this information can actually be used by the CAS pilot even before he reaches the IP. He knows there's tigresses to the north of the target itself, so he can plan his route into the IP based on this information. It's outside of the target area, but it's still pertinent to his mission. So he knows there's tigresses to the north, so he'll fly nap of the Earth to shield his signature or to mask a signature to targets in the north, and fly into that IP and then attack. So let's see how that all works out here in the game.